Hi, it's Shamik MD from shamikmd.com. Today, I'm here to remind you that in nutrition, you can have too much of a good thing. Even the most healthiest food, even superfoods, if consumed in high quantities, can have side effects. I'll tell you a couple that I think are very prevalent and what we can do to take care of them. The first one is kale. As most of you know, kale has flooded everything. Kale in the past 5 years has jumped up about 400% on restaurant menus. The amount of products containing kale, such as kale chips, kale candies, kale soups, the amount of products has tripled globally, also over the past 5 years. And it's not a surprise. Kale is an extremely healthy food. It's low in calories, high in vitamins, vitamin K and A for good, healthy skin. It has vitamin C for immunity, and it has a high percentage of iron, which is hard to find when you eat a plant-based diet. So it's a very nutritious plant. Now, what happens is it's branded in a way that makes it such a superfood that a lot of people have taken it overboard. For example, having a kale green juice in the morning, then having a kale salad for lunch, then later in the day snacking on kale chips. Now what happens is when we have too much kale, kale has a component in it called oxalate. Oxalate combines with calcium and it forms stones, and this can lead to kidney stones. So if you're constantly eating oxalate, you can end up with kidney stones. Now, a solution to this is if you're having kale, just limit it to one main meal a day. If you want to have a kale salad, have the kale salad. And if you still want a green juice, that's fine. Just juice with other vegetables, maybe with low oxalates such as cucumber. Now, some people, when they do the research and they'll look at oxalates, they'll say, well, spinach has more oxalates than kale. And that is very true, but spinach has not turned into the superfood status where people are putting it in everything. So that's why it's good to be careful with kale and how you're consuming kale. The next one I'd bring to your attention is sushi. A lot of people have sushi. It's a quick, convenient, fast, generally healthy food. However, the fish in sushi, usually eel, salmon, crab, and tuna, have extremely high levels of mercury. Now, mercury in these foods, we don't really feel the effect of mercury. It's something that affects us if we do feel it. If it affects us down the line, or we may never feel it as well. But it's muscle weakness, tingly feelings. That's the start of mercury toxicity. Now, a study has shown that if you have sushi just 7 times a month, that exceeds the EPA's threshold for a safe level of mercury. EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, sets guidelines on toxins and how much is good for us. So even 7 days a month is too much. So the solution would be to either have sushi less, or when you do have sushi, pay attention to what sort of fish that you're going to have in your sushi meal. So these are just 2 examples of superfoods. Too much is not a good thing, and there's plenty of others. In general, just remember, if something's good for you, doesn't mean you have to overdose on it and have too much of it. There's something about having variety that's very nutritious and healthy to us. So spread out the superfoods in your daily routine, in your weekly routine, and add variety with colors and nutrients. So this was just a quick piece of information for all of you. This is Shamik MD from shamikmd.com.